Welcome to Girl Talk with Amy, Anna, and Lisa.
Come on, girls. Yeah, you know it's our world. So tell me, where the girls at? Come on, girls.
Like many girlfriends, we get together, share what's going on with friends, families, life in general, good, bad. We're always here to support each other. When we visit each other, we spend time doing our girl talk in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a place where we can be very vulnerable with each other, no judgments. We want to make sure we're uplifting and helping each other when we're down. However, when we're having great success, we're definitely supportive and we're cheering each other on. We are here to support all of you. We realized one day that we had to share this message with others. What we talk about in the comfort zone is something that can empower women all over the world. And we wanted to bring you into our world where we meet once a week. We hope that you enjoy our show. Please like, subscribe, and share with others. We'd love to hear back from you. Welcome to the show. And once again, here we are. Weekly Girl Talk with my girls, Miss Anna Robles and Lisa Garcia. Hi, girls. How are you this week?
Hey!
Today, we have a very, very special guest. We have Rachel West in the house. Say hi, Rachel. Hi! Rachel is a personal growth coach, certified trainer, breakthrough expert, speaker, author, and founder of Empowering Growth. She is a certified neuro-linguistic programming and master timeline therapy practitioner. Say that 10 times fast. She volunteers at the Safe House and is a certified domestic violence victims advocate and community healthcare worker. She provides her own unique coaching to accept and help struggling individuals by using the power of modern neuroscience to transform individuals' lives with a focus on mindset and mental health, to achieve results that they've never achieved before and take themselves to the next level. I know all of you are with me when I say welcome, Rachel. Yay!
Thank you for having me, ladies.
Let's dive right in. We have to talk about this. Okay, in the midst of COVID, in the midst of the stay-at-home orders, this country has been on lockdown for quite a while. You're a certified domestic violence victims advocate and community healthcare worker. I think that's quite appropriate for what we're hearing is happening in so many households nowadays. How did this all come about?
Well, it came about because people are locked indoors right now. That we're mandated to stay in our houses. And some houses aren't the best environment. And sometimes people don't know how to manage their stress, manage their emotions, and being locked inside with your family and you can't go anywhere, and the kids are now doing homeschooling, and that can be a lot on a parent and a child. And just having them be indoors all the time, the mental side can come out in certain situations if you're in a not so good environment. So as a community health worker and a domestic violence advocate, I am that person who bridges the gap and is a resource for anybody who might need help in any way. They're needing to get out of their environment, they're needing to find a job, they're needing maybe a bus pass to get to work because they don't have a car. So I am that go-to person for resources when you're in a not so good situation or a bad environment and you need help getting out of it.
Are you advocating more on behalf of the victim or for both?
More so on the victim. So when it comes to domestic violence advocate, that's what I would be, the resource for the victim. When it comes to community health worker, that could be more broader in the mental health side. So maybe it is a person who is in the LGBTQ community and they're struggling at home, or they have, self-judgment, or they have depression, or they have things going on because they can't express their true selves, or maybe their family aren't supportive of them. And so in that case, as the community health worker advocate, I would be that resource for them to help guide them to what they're needing assistance with.
And so your training, you have neurolinguistics programming as your main certifications, correct?
Correct.
For all of this? So how does this apply to exactly what you're dealing?
It applies on the mindset side. Everything we do is all about your mindset. And specifically on the self-judgments, the addictions, the self-sabotaging, the limiting beliefs. That's how it all kind of comes together. If you don't have the right mindset, you need to shift something to create a different environment.
Absolutely. You're definitely starting to tiptoe into
Speak our language.
Anna. Yeah, absolutely. But definitely stepping into Miss Anna's territory for sure. We know that this is a very difficult time. Domestic violence is definitely on the rise. Suicide is on the rise. And we're talking all age groups. It's a very dark time. The use of drugs and alcohol is rising. Tell me about the mindset shift that you impose or help individuals with.
So I help them discover the root cause. What is it that is preventing them from moving forward? What that means is digging deep. Maybe it's your negative emotion. I help them shift their mentality by figuring out the root cause. What is holding them back and preventing them from moving forward? Is it belief in their self? Is it imprint, meaning how they were raised, their beliefs, their attitudes, their perception in life, and working with them to see where we can shift it just a little so that there can be some change or improvement in that area.
Rachel, I get to talk to you on a weekly basis. So that's something that a lot of people don't know, but Rachel and I have known each other for a couple of years through neurolinguistic programming. And in this past year, we've actually formed a bond where we keep each other accountable. And we actually talk about the mindset on a weekly basis, and not just about our clients, but we also talk about how can we improve. And would you mind sharing with everyone why you chose this path or this journey to help this group of people? Because there's a lot of us out there that are helping people in their mindset, but you chose one that's very, very specific. And I think the audience needs to know that. I know that you have a book coming out next month and you get to talk about a little bit about that. So I want you to share that with everyone.
Yes, I do have a book coming out next month. I am part of a collaborative book, so I wrote a chapter. My chapter is called Journey to Your Value Within. And it's about discovering who you are by discovering what your values are. So as we're growing up, we experience different situations which create a belief or habit or attitude which could affect positive or negative as an adult. So I do go into my journey and my value and discovering my values in my chapter. But to give you a little background story of why and how I got into this field. So prior to being a coach, I had a graphic design business for 4 years with a partner, and we were heavily involved in networking. And that's where we discovered neurolinguistic programming. So I originally started studying it for my graphic design business for the communication side. so that we could linguistically craft our marketing messages to reach more people by speaking into their communication and processing style. So going through that journey and discovering the tools that we receive in neuro-linguistic programming. And growing up, I had a lot of family members who had addictions of various sorts. Alcohol, drugs, gambling, self-harm. And so I was that family member sitting back, watching these people deconstruct and ruin their lives. And so when I discovered the power of neuroscience and discovering the root cause as to what holds you back and prevents you from moving forward, I just realized that this is what I wanted to be doing. I want to help those people, specifically in addictions, and work with the family members. Somebody who is like me, who has to kind of just sit back and watch it happen, and you can't really do anything about it. So helping the family member work through that time, understanding addiction, understanding the addict, and understanding and working through all of those emotions that they're going through. And then I work with rehabbed addicts, meaning that they've admitted they have a problem, they've sought out help, and they've graduated from a program, and now I'm working with them to reframe their beliefs, rework their habits and their behaviors, because they come out of these programs and they're not working on those things. They've gotten the tools to get sober and make better choices and have people to talk to when they're, going down a dark path. So helping them on a deeper level to prevent relapsing. It's so common that people who have addictions go through a rehab program and relapse. It could be quick, it could be 10 years sobriety and they relapse, which I witnessed firsthand that happen. So just discovering the power of really digging deep and ripping off that Band-Aid and discovering why is it that you're turning to that addiction? What is causing that? It's so much deeper sometimes that people don't even know what it is. They think maybe like, oh, well, I was in high school and somebody offered it to me and I tried it and now I'm addicted to it. It's so much deeper than that. That's how it started, but why did you say yes? What caused you to say yes? If somebody offered it to me in high school, I would say no. So what is it? It's much deeper. In my chapter, I talk about specific situations that impacted me growing up and how it created a belief in myself and how witnessing and being around others also impacted me. How I created beliefs that weren't true and how to release those, and discovering neuro-linguistic programming through my graphic design business and realizing the power of these tools and helping people really work through their problems, their struggles.
Just automatically just came together.
Yeah, it just came together.
So did you find when you were in graphic design, did you find that you were trying to save people?
I would say not in my graphic design business. I would say more so in my personal life, that I tended to be that person who wanted to help everybody. I've always had this gift that I see the good in everyone. So even these people I witnessed struggling through this dark time, I still was able to see their good, see them outside of their problem. And so with my graphic design business, I didn't realize this at the time. I now know that I was sabotaging it from working. I thought I was doing the work, I was meeting people, I was doing all the actions I thought that I should be doing to grow my business, and yet it was kind of just not happening for me. And I now know it's because that's not really what I wanted to be doing. I wasn't really aligned with it. You graduate from, when I graduated from high school, I went to college, community college, because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. That's what you do. And I didn't want to be judged by my family or other people for not going to college. But at that time, I really didn't know what I wanted to be doing. So I was just going to go for the sake of going. So I wouldn't go to class, I wasn't doing my homework, and I wasn't getting good grades. So I ended up not re-signing the next semester, and I took a few years off. And then I discovered and decided that I was going to go to school for graphic design. That was my path. And so once I discovered that, I made a commitment to myself to this time, now that I had a goal in mind, that I was going to commit to school and I was going to do the best that I could do. And I did. And so after you graduate, you get a job. Well, I found, I met my business partner. She was also a graphic designer. And so we decided to start a graphic design business together. And I really enjoyed being her partner because we were like yin and yang, and whatever I struggled with, she was good at, and vice versa. So we made a really good team. And so I really wanted it to work for her and for me. And I envisioned this grand, successful business. And so I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing to make a successful business happen, and yet it wasn't happening for me. And now I know it's because I wasn't really aligned with doing it. And once I discovered that, I was like, okay, I've been doing the same pattern of doing the same thing over and over with things I'm not aligned with, and I'm done doing that. And so I quickly made a change from graphic design to coaching for that purpose and that reason.
When did that happen?
In the NLP trainings, there's multiple sections within the training. And so specifically when I shifted was in the 4th master timeline. When we do a day of breakthrough session, we really dig deep. And this is also in my chapter. So if you really want to know more about this story, you're going to have to read my chapter of how I transitioned.
Nice plug.
Yes. And what's
the name of the book?
The Successful Woman's Mindset is the name of the book. It's 21 Women, 21 Stories. So I have a chapter in the book. It's called Journey to Your Value Within.
And when does it come out?
As of right now, it's scheduled for January 12th.
Nice.
So it was that day, just, I really wanted this change. And I really wanted this work to work for me. And so I went all in and I gave it my all. And just doing that, I would hear myself repeat my pattern that I was creating over and over and over. And this is not in my book, so I'll share this. And part of it was I would wait until I hit my bottom, what that was to me, to push off of that, to do what I wanted to do. So for instance, going back to college, when I decided to focus on graphic design, that was kind of my bottom. Before that, I, had dropped out and I was just hanging out with my friends and I was working 2 jobs. And one day it just hit me like, man, this sucks. I don't want to work 2 jobs for like minimum wage for the rest of my life. This is not the life I'm going to be living. So something's got to change. And so that was my bottom. Like, it's not necessarily an extreme bottom, but it was enough for me to be like, no, this is not happening anymore. And that was what pushed me to go back to school and focus and really make the commitment to my schooling. So, but I was doing this continuously with other things. And I was telling my partner in this session, I was eagerly waiting for, I could feel that this bottom was coming again for me. And I was eagerly waiting for it so that I could push off of it and do what I really wanted to do. And after I heard myself say that, I'm like, this is so silly. Why am I waiting for this bottom to come again? Why don't I just do it now? And so that was really the turning point. I did. I finished all of my trainings in November of last year. In January, I transitioned out of graphic design company and into coaching. So it was a fast transition because I was done waiting for this bottom to do what I wanted to do. And I just did it.
Wow. So that day that you were doing your breakthroughs.
Next morning, I woke up and knew that I was no longer going to have the graphic design agency. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, I can say wow because I've experienced something similar to you and look where I'm at now. But thanks for sharing that with us. I really think it's empowering and it's encouraging for others to know that it's okay to be where you're at. But when you do wake up, follow your dream, follow your path and go with it, all your gusto and all your might, and do what's going to make you happy. Because at the end of the day, if you're happy, you're going to be able to make other people happy. And then you get to transform more lives that way. I do have a question regarding what it is that you do. I know that you talked about being someone that got to see what it was like to be around that type of environment. What kind of words or encouragement do you have for someone that is in that situation where they could see their loved ones are spiraling out of control and you feel helpless? And I'm speaking for myself, someone very dear to me, much younger, he's one of my godchilds, ended up in a situation like that. And just to see him spiral, it takes a lot of you. What kind of words of encouragement can you give to the person that gets to see that? I know that you're helping the person that is going through it, but I think that other people also need some kind of encouragement, be able to breathe in how can they help?
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of tough working with a family member who has an addiction because you're watching this and you want to help them. You want to get them whatever they need. Sometimes family members even enable, and it's because they care about the person and they just want them to be better. The thing we have to remember is that we can't do anything, and that's the hardest part, is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Same thing with addiction. You can tell them, okay, you need an intervention, go now. And they may go just because you're telling them to, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work or that they're going to stick with it or that they're not going to relapse, because they have to want it too. So the best thing that you can do is really work on yourself and get in tune and be mindful of what you're feeling and how to manage what you're feeling. It's a tough situation because you want to help them, and really, I hate to say it, but we can't do anything. We just have to be in a good place ourselves and eventually hope that they will see that you're in a good place and will want to be in that place as well. Almost like modeling for them.
So you said manage where you are. manage the place that you're in. So
Yeah.
a mom is watching her child spin out of control. How many of us listening to this, how many of you out there have watched this story? Your child is just spinning out of control. It doesn't even have to be drugs or alcohol. It could literally be, it could be sex, it could be friends just hanging with the wrong crowd. You want so badly and so desperately to intervene and to say, oh no, take my wisdom. I know, I've been there, I've seen that. How do you coach? What's the one nugget that you use to tell that mom, and I say mom because it's called girl talk, hey, just sit and watch? I mean, how do they sit and just take a stadium seat to the show? I mean,
so we're all on our own journeys, and even our children. And so really it's working on your emotions and how you're responding to the way you're feeling in regards to what you're seeing happen. So you're feeling angry and frustrated, like, I'm done, go get help already. You're feeling sad, from watching this, and that you see this life that they could have, but they don't see it and they don't want it. There may be some guilt on yourself as a parent, thinking like, well, how did this happen? Where did it go wrong? What did I do? You might be blaming yourself for it. When it's the perception of each person and how they're perceiving the different events that create their outcome, their addiction, or their spiraling.
gotcha.
Rachel, I relate. If anybody's watched this show, I'm pretty open about, my history, my past. I was married to someone who was addicted to alcohol, and it brought our family through just a tornado, I did go and attend Al-Anon, and then he would make fun of me for attending Al-Anon. And I pretty much was that enabler for him. His family wasn't enablers. They're still enablers. And, I had to watch my kids go through things they shouldn't have had to go through. I had to go through things that I shouldn't have had to go through. And we just keep going through this cycle of making excuses for this person and thinking in your mind, oh, it's going to be okay. He's going to get better. I do know a lot of times when somebody is acting out in a way where they're using alcohol, drugs, self-harm, it's because they're going through something. Mm-hmm. And it's probably more important to get to the root of where they're going. I've had to experience it with, behavioral wise with one of my children, and, drug use with one of my children. So, I've had to go through all of that, but then got down to, there's a reason they're doing this. There's a reason this is happening, and that's what we need to find out. And so that's what I was able to do. And then I too, started in a different career and ended up in the social media marketing, graphic design business. And so that's where I'm at now. So I can totally relate to you there, Rachel. And just when you know, right? But getting back to the people that you help with your organization. Now, I know that I was always too proud to reach out to anyone and get help, and thinking I can just fix it myself. And I really didn't want a whole lot of people to know what I was going through when I was going through it. Is there like a call center for counseling, or, where someone doesn't have to be, they can be anonymous? Do you offer that type of service where someone is just maybe too embarrassed? My ex-husband was an entertainer. A lot of people knew who he was. And the last thing I wanted to do was put it out there that this was going on with us. But for those people who just might need some advice, need someone to talk to, need a resource to help them get through what they're going through before they take that step to say, okay, here I am, this is who I am, and now I'm ready to get help. But is there somewhere they can call, or some sort of hotline? Do you offer those type of services with your organization?
I don't. I'm considered a coach and not a counselor or therapist or something like that. Everything is confidential. So they're anonymous in the way that nobody else is going to know that they're talking to me. So I would be the only person that they would be talking to, and it would be over a phone call. So it would be a little bit more private. That way,
Right.
It's in their home or, in a private space.
When they're working with you as their coach to coach them through. They've made that choice. Where what Lisa's talking about is more of like a hotline, the drug abuse hotline, for example, where they're actually reaching out to a community service but when you step in, it's because they've made that conscious decision that they need help.
Just like at their end, they need the help and they can't take it anymore. And going back to when you were saying the root, that's really what you're portraying on the outside, whether it's addiction or anything else. It's really a reflection of what's going on the inside. So these people, specific addiction, they're hurting inside because of some reason. It could be trauma, it could be a person, an event, a situation that happened, something they don't want to remember, something they don't want to think about, something they don't want to feel anymore. And so they're just using the alcohol or the drugs or the cutting or the gambling or, overworking. People are addicted to work, phone. Yeah, to cope with that, because there's something deeper that's causing them to do that. So helping them become aware that that is what's going on, helping the family member become aware that there's something deeper with this person. It's nothing that they did.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got to let the survivor, I don't say victim, I say survivor, because that's what we are when we get through it, but making the survivor have that mindset that it's not you, nothing you could have done, there's nothing you can do, it's on them, So that makes so much sense.
Peeling an onion, peeling the onion of the situation for both the survivor as well as the person actually causing the situation or in the situation that's actually having that pain. Boy, can you smell that? Do you smell the onion? Let's break state really quick.
I'm crying right now.
I can smell it.
Well, boy, Rachel, this was amazing. It's so deep. My head's hurting, actually. Boy, oh boy, there's a whole lot of information that you can share with everyone. And those of you outside, if you need help or someone that is struggling, by all means, we here at Girl Talk can hook you up with Rachel. And how are we all going to find you, Rachel? Tell us.
Well, you can visit my website for more information at empoweringgrowthcoach.com, or you can send me an email, which is rachel@empoweringgrowthcoach.com.
Awesome. And tell us about this book. Now, when this book is coming out when?
As of right now, it's scheduled for January 12th.
Where are we going to find this book?
It will be on my website.
Okay.
You can also find it on Amazon.
And the title is again?
The Successful Woman's Mindset.
There you have it. The Successful Women's Mindset in January on Amazon. Look for it.
Our big thing on the show is that we start with where we were, where we are, and where we're going. So where do you see yourself going?
Well, I'm just beginning this new journey as a coach. And so I see myself training neuro-linguistic programming to help more people. I see myself speaking. I want to be the type of speaker that moves people when they hear me. I want them to I'm building this experience. So everything I do is an experience with my coaching, with my trainings, with my speaking, my book. Everything takes you through this experience.
Yes, and you know what? You're definitely relatable. I can see you being successful in what you do and what you've chosen to do, what type of avenue or you've chosen to go down, the type of people that you want to help. And you can definitely relate to them when they come to you. So it's not like you're just some kook that says, hey, I can help you with this.
Right.
And you really know nothing about it, you know?
She has a very
I think that's
calming
where,
effect, doesn't she?
yeah, that too.
Very grounding, and absolutely relatable. So I think that's the whole point, is that that's
For
very,
sure.
very helpful. Awesome. Rachel, thank you so very much for coming by today. It was so awesome to hear this, and definitely your journey is relatable, and I'm sure, I am absolutely positive that there's somebody out there shaking their head going, yep, I get it. I mean, during this interview, I could see the three of us going, yep, absolutely. We understand where she's coming from. And I remember that. And I say from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the girls, thank you so much for coming. You mean so much to us. We truly are so excited for you in this journey. And hey, the door is always open for you to come back to tell us what's going on. Give us the updates right here on Girl Talk.
Yeah.
Yes, we would love to hear about your journey, your ongoing journey, and where you end up. And so, yes, thank you. I'm excited to read the book.
Send us a copy of the book, signed.
Yeah.
I want my copy signed. Everyone, thank you so very much for tuning in to Girl Talk. We'll see you next time. Bye.
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 A little bit easier for me. And then I'm going to... That's why we have Elisa.
No,
I know, I caught myself. I'm so sorry. Damn it.
We're working women. Hello.
We are.
Don't worry, I'll edit it out.
I forgot to tell you that part. Why'd you say something?
Who cares?
Or just roll.
No, let's just go with it.
Okay. Cut. Good deal.